on December 19, 2016. 34-year-old Samantha Koenig was supposed to be looking after 7 children in her care. The children were aged between 3 and 12 years old, and they should have been having a lovely evening with their babysitter until things took a horrifying turn. Samantha had worked for the family for several months. She'd built up a great relationship with the kids, and she genuinely enjoyed her job. So much so that she would often work overtime, even when no one asked her to. But on this particular night, things would end on a very sour note. At around 6:30 p.m., Samantha called the mother of the children, Diana, and told her that she needed to stay longer than usual because the father, Joseph, hadn't come home yet from his business trip, and he was on due back for another 3 days. Diana was furious. She told Samantha that if she didn't bring the kids back immediately, she would be in trouble. Samantha knew that Diana was a strict woman, so she didn't argue. She just said yes, ma'am, and hung up the phone. She tried calling a friend to ask for backup, but her friend couldn't make it that night, so she was on her own. When she told the children that they had to go, they were upset. But they knew their mom would be very mad if she wasn't back by 8 o'clock, so they all got in the car and headed back home. But that's when the horror began. As Samantha was driving down the dark road, she started to feel like she was being followed. She glanced in her rearview mirror and saw what she thought was a black SUV, creeping closer and closer behind her. She drove faster, but so did the mysterious vehicle. She could see the headlights getting brighter and brighter in her mirror. Then suddenly, the car behind her flashed its high beams at her, forcing her to slow down. As soon as she did, the car behind her sped past her, almost clipping her vehicle. Samantha was shaken but relieved when the car whizzed by her. She continued driving home, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. As she pulled into the driveway, she could see the front door of the house was slightly ajar. That wasn't good. She specifically told Diana to lock the doors, and she knew that the eldest child was supposed to be the only one with a key. Was Diana home? Or was someone else inside the house? Before she could dwell on the thought any longer, she heard the sound of footsteps inside the house. Someone, or something, was definitely in there. When she knocked on the door, the footsteps stopped. A moment later, the door opened, and a man stood before her. He was tall and muscular, and he had a creepy smile on his face. "Can I help you?" he asked. Samantha was shocked. This was definitely not Joseph. In fact, she'd never seen this man before in her life. She tried to get past him to check on the children, but he blocked her way. "Who are you?" she asked. "Your biggest nightmare," he replied. That was when Samantha realized that the children were in grave danger. Who was this man? What did he want? And most importantly, where were the children? She screamed for help, but no one came. She was on her own, and she had to do whatever it took to save those kids. In a panic, she turned and ran. She could hear the man's footsteps behind her as she sprinted down the street. She didn't know where she was going, but she just kept running until she came to a stop at the local police station. She burst through the doors and collapsed on the floor, sobbing. She explained to the cops what had happened, and they immediately dispatched a search team to the house. When they arrived, they found the man who'd answered the door standing over the bodies of the 7 children. He had a knife in his hand, and blood was dripping down his arm. The police tackled him to the ground and arrested him. He was later identified as Andre Dudley, a 23-year-old drifter who had recently moved to the area. He told the police that he had been hired to kill the children, and that the person who dehired him had given him a key to the house. But when questioned further, he said that he could not remember where he'd gotten the key from, or who had given it to him. As for Samantha, she was hailed a hero for trying to save the children. She'd only been trying to do her job, but in the process, she'd managed to save an innocent life. What do you think? Was Samantha a hero, or just doing her job? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more.